Hi everyone. So I've played the Nioh 3 demo and I've got quite a few thoughts about the demo overall, but in this video I just wanted to talk about Onmyo magic because it's very different in this game than how it was in Nioh 1 and Nioh 2. The way you acquire it is different, the way you equip it is different, even the strength of the spells is different in far as how they're balanced with each other. I'm going to show you the spells available in the demo and talk about how I got each of them and how the new system works. So to start, the new system, it's a pretty cool concept. You hunt yokai and get their soul cores. You then purify those soul cores by killing what's called a crucible yokai, which is just a stronger yokai from what I could tell. You can then equip those purified soul cores and that will allow you to either summon yokai, sort of like the spirit animal attacks in previous Nioh game, or you can use Onmyo magic spells. I like the concept of hunting yokai in order to unlock magic spells. It's a lot more fun than the dojo missions of the previous Nioh games. I was not a fan of dojo missions at all. And I can just imagine when the full game comes out, everyone's going to be sharing with each other which yokai to hunt in order to unlock powerful spells and things like that. Speaking of the spells, now I'm going to show you all the spells available in this demo. I'll showcase the offensive spells. There's only 3 of them in this demo. There's Water Shot, Fire Familiar, and Overload. All the other spells are just buffs, which aren't very interesting to look at, but I'll still show you which yokai unlocks them and let you see the effects of them. Starting with Fire Familiar, it works the same way as it did in Nioh 2. You cast it, and then you use heavy attacks to launch the fireballs at enemies. The big difference here is that in Nioh 2, this spell was really strong, like one-shot enemies with each orb kind of strong. In this alpha, at least so far, the spell is so weak that it can't even kill this basic enemy after hitting it with 8 fireballs. So that's very different. I'm not sure why the strength of spells is so off in this alpha, but it's not something they can't adjust in time for the beta test even. Next is Overload, and Overload is supposed to explode on burning targets or if your target dies. The spell wasn't all that good in Nioh 2, it did okay damage, but it requires that you first burn your target with another spell before Overload would trigger and explode itself to do its extra exploding damage. Now for the third of our offensive Onmyo spells in this demo, we have Water Shot. This spell actually does pretty good damage. It's the hardest hitting spell in the demo by a lot, but we only get 3 casts of it. So Team Ninja really didn't want us to have fun with Onmyo in this demo. Now the untouched stat does exist in Nioh 3. I've seen both untouched elixirs and untouched ammo, so I assume other variations of the untouched stat exist as well, like untouched Onmyo, but we'll get back to that. First, I wanted to show you an example of a yokai summon. This is a boss yokai that you beat at the end of the demo. You can only equip 1 yokai summon at a time, and with this one in particular, you only get 2 casts of it. One thing to note is that Onmyo does refill at shrines, including your summons, but ninjutsu does not. And speaking of ninjutsu, I'm going to show you that now. The elemental ninjutsu spell in the demo are called Uncanny, like Uncanny Fire, Uncanny Bolt, Uncanny Breeze, and Uncanny Water. Ninjutsu doesn't do high ki damage like it does in Nioh 2. Its damage is overall pretty low, but it does inflict ailments in about 3 casts. And speaking of the ailments, Confusion is still a thing, and it still boosts your damage by about 50% when you inflict 2 different elemental elements at the same time, so that still exists. Fire still causes burn over time, Saturation still lowers physical defense, and Electrify still slows the target. I have no idea what Wind does though. ninjutsu refills by attacking or by doing perfect dodges once you get this evade skill. I'll show you guys the ninjutsu tree as well. These are the Uncanny Ninjutsu, Uncanny Breeze, Fire, Bolt, and Bubble. These are the only 4 ninjutsu elemental spells we have in the demo. The other ninjutsu exist, but they aren't really interesting to me. Like I said, I think the devs really did not want us to play with casting spells in this alpha. They wanted us using samurai and ninja stances and giving specific feedback on those. But first, let me show you guys how we even equip spells and summons. First, you select an Onmyo box. Notice there are different spaces for multiple different Onmyo boxes, so I imagine each box will grant a different bonus for using them, but this is a list of every type of soul core in the demo. Each type of soul core can unlock one spell for you or one summon, and I'm showing you which summon and which spell each soul core unlocks. To use a soul core as a summon, you have to set it in a yang position in the Onmyo box. Basically, you put it at the top of the box, the top slot in the box. And the bottom slot in the box is the yin position. To unlock Onmyo spells, you put the soul core in the yin position. Basically, think of it like a box with 2 compartments, top and bottom. The top compartment is where you put your soul core when you want to access summons, and the bottom compartment is where you put your soul cores when you want to access Onmyo magic. In the Onmyo box we have access to in this alpha, we have 1 top slot, so 1 summon slot, and 6 bottom slots for Onmyo magic that unlock as you level up your magic stat. So we can equip up to 6 different Onmyo magic spells and 1 summon all at the same time. And I imagine different types of Onmyo boxes will have different splits on how many summons or spells you can equip at once, among other benefits as well. Like, there may be a box that lets you equip 5 different summons and 2 spells, or something like that. You have a set number of spell charges with each soul core as well, but you can get more spell charges by equipping a higher level soul core. For example, you may have a Gaki Soul Core that gives you 3 Extraction Talismans, but you could find a higher level Gaki Soul Core that gives you 5 Extraction Talismans instead. So you'd replace your old Gaki Soul Core with the new Soul Core that gives you more spell charges, and that's how you'd actually get more spell charges. For putting a mage build together, I think the stats we'd build around would be the same as in Nioh 1 and Nioh 2. We'd try to get untouched Onmyo above 50% and stack as much elemental damage as we could. That would still be the basic concept of a mage build as far as I've seen as of now in this alpha. I do really hope we get some new Onmyo spells and some new casting animations as well though before the full game comes out. Hopefully the next demo can show us a bit of that. I'm going to let you guys look at the rest of the soul cores and see what summon or spell they give you now, and I'll see you guys in the next segment. So, a slight deviation from Onmyo Magic talk. Up until now, everything I've shown you guys has been what the game looks like with the lighting and saturation boosted. The game actually looks like what you see on the right side here. I legitimately had a hard time seeing things because of how tone-on-tone everything looks. Like, everything is brown. It's also brown. On the left side, what you see is what I've been showing you with the saturation boosted. And I think it looks better and it makes it easier to see enemies in the environment as well. I don't know why the color palette is so brown in the actual game. It's like they put a weird brown filter over everything. And for me, it just makes it harder to see anything. Worst of all, the few explosions that we get from casting spells in this demo don't look nearly as good as they should behind that brown filter. So, please, Team Ninja, if you happen to see my Mage video, please fix your colors. Okay, back to Onmyo Mage talk. This is the final boss fight in the alpha, and I'm using every bit of magic we've got access to in this fight. I'm using the Scampus summons. Two of them come out at once and just pester the enemy with key damage, similar to the Scampus item in Nioh 2. I'm also using a combination of Onmyo and ninjutsu. Right now, I'm in the living artifact form, which is pretty much like the living weapon from Nioh 1. And I think this form will become a major part of Onmyo Mage builds in Nioh 3, just like Living Weapon was a major part of Onmyo Mage builds in Nioh 1. The concept here is that you're practically invincible in Living Artifact form. Your Living Artifact gauge fills up with Amrita, and spells have a high return of Amrita on hit. And with the Extraction Talisman active, casting spells help refill the Living Artifact gauge even faster. As you can see, my Living Artifact gauge is already pretty much halfway full again. This is going to be a key part of Mage survivability in Nioh 3, just like Living Weapon was a key part of Mage survivability in Nioh 1. I've also got Protection Talisman active that nullifies a certain amount of damage, same as in Nioh 2. So that's the Nioh 3 alpha demo. There was a survey after this demo where they asked a bunch of questions about how I liked samurai form and ninja form, so you can see where their focus was for this demo, but hopefully you guys got the basic concept of how magic is going to work in Nioh 3. And don't worry, Onmyo Mages will return. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile.